Welcome back, everyone, to another Uninformed Movie Reviews episode
55.
55? I was going to say 55.
You were going to be correct. Get Medicare.
Yeah.
Can we?
I think so.
Hell yeah.
Is that how that works?
You can quit your job now, Frank.
Free healthcare for the podcast.
Tight.
Today, we're here to have another TV episode. It wasn't that long ago we did Ozark. And now we're back for Umbrella Academy Season 3.
The third.
The third season.
Almost seems like it was too long ago that it came out.
That's funny because I watched our older episodes, the first and second episode, which are very different episodes too.
I don't believe I was on the first one, was I?
You weren't on either of them. This is
Really?
your first
Interesting.
Umbrella Academy episode.
We just
Whoa.
had Brandon stand-ins for those?
So the first episode was Brandon and I.
Okay.
And it's a review of season 1, but we're mostly talking about the comic book and how it relates to the show. And then we did a season 2 podcast, which was just Danny and I.
That's right.
It's a
Because we consumed it like, boop.
yeah. Well, it was during
pandemic.
a pandemic. Yeah.
Ah.
So then, and in the podcast, Danny's like, yeah, we're probably, with all these shooting delays, no one's shooting right now. It's going to be a while until we see this next season. And I was like, you know what, Danny? You were right. And here we are.
2 hours. I mean, 2 hours. 2 years later.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, here we are. We got Frank in on it.
Hey.
Danny's back.
Yes, I am.
We're
Where'd
here
he go?
We're here to talk about it.
in person.
I thought we'd maybe just go get like general impressions first, but before we get in, here's a little summary for you. And I'll say, like, you know, maybe we won't get into spoilers fully immediately,
Well, we'll
At
do that
some
later.
point we will.
but it's gonna. So you need to
Yeah.
watch out. This is a spoiler warning for
Hey,
everybody.
I got spoiled for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it hasn't even been out like a week, and I haven't even watched the entire show.
Well, karma is for reals, and you had it coming.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
true.
so.
That is true. Okay, so the Hargreaves family, after seasons worth of Back to the Future-esque hijinks, have returned to the present, but they soon discover their meddling has caused many changes throughout the timeline.
Oh, man, again?
Again, yeah, including the Umbrella Academy itself, which is now the Sparrow Academy. Caca. A new team with new and generally more rude members. End of the world crisis quickly ensues. It's like that episode of Futurama with the golden bender. Bite my glorious golden daffodil. It's UC season 3.
Hey.
Very nice. Very
Excellent,
nice.
David.
Thank you.
I might want to watch this Umbrella Academy Season 3.
This was definitely Back to the Future Part 2.
Well, yeah. Which is funny. I even say that in the last episode that we did together.
I mean,
There were some good little bits we had, Danny. You had this one part where you said that Ben had Spider-Man 3 hair. It was so true. But then they retconned it. And this season, Ben, his hair is
does
like
not
spiky.
have Spider-Man hair.
But at
no.
the end, if you watch season 2 again, the cliffhanger was the Sparrow setup. They come through
Right.
the time warp again.
So did they reshot it?
Well, it's just like at the end of that season, you see Ben. That's the big reveal. But he's got the He's got the emo swoop. And now in this season, when the show starts, no, he's got spiky hair.
But I'm saying like that moment where they show us the sparrows.
Oh yeah,
in season
because
2, they just reshot it, right?
well, yeah, because in season 2,
They didn't actually have the actors.
they're
and stuff?
silhouettes. You don't know who they
that's
are.
right. Okay.
They probably weren't even cast yet.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
anyways, general thoughts. Let's kick it over to Danny.
Okay. Sure. That was a good plot twist right
Yeah, I was
there.
like, ooh, he's looking at me. It's going to be me.
I gotta say, as a whole, it's the weakest season for me, but it's not a bad season. Still a good show. I got annoyed more watching this season than I have in previous seasons, for sure. Maybe it's just because I know the Umbrella Academy formula too well now.
Interesting. Yeah.
I actually commented on this a little bit before we were recording, so I'll do it again here. I think that right now, I know it's the style of the Umbrella Academy, but I think it's suffering from the Zack Snyder treatment, early Zack Snyder, in such like Watchmen, or let's go as far as saying David Ayer's Suicide Squad, in which it is a montage of music that is too on the nose and too linked to the shallowest context they can find that is on screen.
I think one of the biggest sins like committed in this vein is like when Hargreaves is driving in his car listening to "Want to Take a Ride with Me" from Nelly.
I actually thought that part
must be
was
the money.
I actually thought that part was one part that made me chuckle.
It was funny.
It worked.
It was funny because you hear the song and you see the car first, and you're like, "Who's listening to Nelly right now?" And then it's Hargreaves. That's the funny part.
It's I would agree with Danny because I felt the exact same way. Like this is probably the season I rolled the most, but at the same time, just like the Hargreaves bit, it's like it's still got enough charm, and good enough cliffhangers. They always get you with them cliffhangers that you're like, well, tell me what's next, man. I got to see this next.
I would say
episode.
that episode 9 cliffhanger actually kind of pissed me off because I was just like, oh, you got me. I gotta watch it right now. I mean, but aside from, they've always done the music montage bit. The music's a big part of the show, even though they don't show any. I mean, they don't play any MCR, which is kind of hilarious.
I think they can't. You know what I mean? It'd be too much.
Well, they seem to find enough. What's the word I'm looking for? Mediocre acoustic covers of songs.
A little Sons of Anarchy vibes.
Yeah, to where they can, because there's so many mediocre acoustic covers of songs in this series as a whole that make me eye roll when I figure out what song it is that I'm sure they could put an MCR song like done in that style in there.
Yeah, well, no, what I mean though is you can't do My Chemical Romance because Gerard Way is too tied into it. It's like
he's okay with destroying everyone else's songs.
But you know what though? He does use one of his songs at the end of season 2.
That's true.
There's a Gerard Way song. It's not MCR. So
and it's full band.
Yeah.
It's and
I want to say that some of his bandmates inspired the character creation.
Oh, cool.
I feel like Brandon told me this when we did the original Umbrella Academy podcast.
That.
Sounds like something he would say.
Yeah.
I guess as far as like overall impressions past the music, it's really hard to not hate the Sparrows, and I know that's what they're going for. But at a certain point, I feel like they needed better talent playing the Sparrows because I feel like even though they have shallow dialogue to go off of, they couldn't make the most of it with who they got.
Interesting. Okay.
And it was oversold, and to a point where, okay, if you're just gonna have the Sparrows for like 3 episodes or something like that, have them be as kooky and cheesy as you want. But they were kooky, cheesy, evil for 10 episodes, to where it was very eye rolly, and particularly ruined my impression of Ben like completely.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because and sadly, I'm gonna say this: the Ben actor was not good when he was given range, and he wasn't given much range to play with, but
he did really well when he was Klaus's ghost sidekick last season.
Yes,
but when he's supposed to be like intimidating and
Spider-Man
mean,
3,
yeah, when he's going full Spider-Man 3, it's not very convincing.
Well, and it's kind of the point though, isn't it? Like that's what he's trying to be, but nobody's buying it.
He wants to be a number 1, but he's always a number 2.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. And he's a very big number 2 for the entire
number 2.
for the entire show. But it's I can see what you're saying, Frank. Like it's the impression they're trying to give off. It's just even to the audience, I feel like it comes off generally as annoying rather than even pitiful at the end.
You gotta appreciate the director for at least letting you know right up front, like, okay, I know this is evil Ben because this Ben has a mustache. That's what cartoons have taught me.
Futurama. What about you, Frank? What were your general impressions?
Right there with Danny, and that like it's probably the season I enjoyed the least because it is very eye rolly, like all over the place. But there's still enough good stuff to where I can generally say I enjoyed it. Like I looked forward to every next episode, and then the season ends, and you're like, well, I have to know what they do next. How do they screw this one up?
That was a cool ending. It was a good premise. We'll go into that. At some point,
yeah, we're almost there.
What about you?
Oh well, I'm almost right there with you guys. I was getting a little bit tired of it as it got further along, which is usually the opposite way that I feel about an Umbrella Academy season. Usually it's like first couple episodes, they're really taking their time and then things really pick up. Whereas in this one, for me, it was like the rules And
did not make sense.
They didn't make sense, and also the characters just couldn't come to terms with what seemed like basic realities of the situation.
Are you talking about Allison?
Especially Allison,
Yeah.
who last season was one of my favorite characters. I didn't like her first
yeah.
season.
No.
Season 2, she's very interesting. It has a really cool role. But then in this season, it's just it doesn't make sense in the writing, and that's the problem. That
She's supposed to be very level-headed too.
yeah, so it goes against the character, but it's just it portrays the characters that they have no logic.
Yeah.
And that's what's really getting annoying. And even 5 is doing some things where you're like, well, 5's too smart to be doing this. Like, he would know that given the situation they're in, that they need to do this. You know what I mean?
There were so many sorry to interject, but
No,
there's
you're good.
so many moments with 5 in particular that were literally that Rick and Morty meme where he's just like, I'm just trying to get out of the game, and he's just like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
I'm in. Yeah, so it's not bad. I agree with you guys there. It's not bad. But
It's also not the strongest.
it's not. It's
example
just
we've
not
had.
the strongest. And for me, towards the end, I was like, man, I really have to go through this. I need to finish this commitment and obligation.
Yeah.
And the bigger problem for me too is, the streaming. We've talked about it before. You get the streaming shows. You're waiting forever for a season to come out. You consume it in like a day or two, but like hot off the heels of Stranger Things season 4.
Oh, yeah.
which is probably like the
best.
the best season of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And then I just watched a little bit of The Boys. I was like, man, they're back and they're on fire immediately.
Probably the best superhero
Just
show.
right off the
on-
kick. Just
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh well, okay, Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a little lackluster when things have come out. Well, Stranger Things was around before then too, but yeah, like
Yeah, you wait
everything
and
is much stronger than the Umbrella Academy's expectations are at right now.
And it's also just the way that we consume media. It's like, we'll talk about this Umbrella Academy season right now for the next like 2 weeks, and then it'll be gone.
for like 2 years at least.
Yeah, and then it'll come back. Everyone will talk about it again.
It might
But
be gone even faster than that because they already released the second half of that Stranger Things this season, man.
I was gonna say,
wait, it's out?
No, it comes out on Friday.
Friday.
On July
Don't tease
4th
me like
weekend.
that.
Well, I
Which is
mean,
this weekend.
to the listeners, it would have just come.
Oh, that's true.
Oh man, I can't
Dang,
wait.
Frank. He understands the rules of the timeline. better.
Dang.
I accidentally did that correctly.
Yeah.
July 1st. Yeah, it comes out Friday.
Oh, I
2
can't
days
wait.
ago. Yeah, I'm gonna
I've heard some things.
Retcon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
heat it up. No. But anyway, but to get down to it, the thing that makes Umbrella Academy work overall, because every season has like some issues with the writing for sure, is that the characters are very likable, and I think for the most part, these are likable characters still. Some of them I liked more than I liked in season 2. It's just always funny to me that it seems like every season of Umbrella Academy, it seems like they're purposely trying to shoot a few characters in the foot.
Yeah.
They're like, you are not going to like this. You hear me? Look at me right now. You are not going to like this character. All right. And that's it. That's the only choice you have.
Say to the camera that you're not going to like this character.
I'm like, okay. Fine. I will.
And I feel like just without trying to spoil much stuff, I'm really trying. Yes, they're venturing into some new territory with this season, but I feel like they kind of fall into maybe you'll agree with this, into the Dragon Ball Z problem, to where nothing really has consequences.
Dude, you literally said this on the last episode.
Did I really?
Because I listened to the older episodes yesterday, and you were like, yeah, and you know what? When they bring this character back to life, they're dancing into Dragon Ball Z territory. You don't want to go full Dragon Ball Z, but you're right. They
Here
did
we
it.
are. They're full Dragon Ball Z.
They went
right
full
now.
Dragon Ball Z because it's like someone will die, and then the next episode they're like, "Hey, everybody, what's going on?"
No, it's cool. They're being summoned.
Well, there's that
Back.
episode towards the end of the season where Allison's having her breakdown and she's just like, it's just like none of it, like she's like laughing, like none of it actually matters. And it's like, well, yeah, but I want to see how the season ends.
You can't just give
No,
up.
yeah,
though.
I realized that a while ago, but I'm invested at this point.
Tell me what's going on in this hotel. Come on. That was a cool metaphor.
Yeah, the hotel's interesting, and well, now that we're getting into the series itself, so this is the Hotel Oblivion season.
Hotel California.
Yeah, Hotel. You can check in anytime you like, but you can never leave.
No, because the front door's being sucked into a black hole.
So to
Kugelblitz.
Kugelblitz.
A series of black holes
There you
collapsing
go.
in on it.
Just like a
itself,
bunch of
excuse me.
buttholes like facing each other and farting into each other. That's
Weird,
what
that's
it is.
how I imagined it in my head.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, the Kugelblitz is the big existential terror this season, and it's like a mysterious well, it's a series of black holes, but it's like an energy source.
They
of
described
energy.
it as like a ball of lightning.
Yeah. And it keeps growing and growing and growing. And
I'm sorry, do you mean God?
God.
the whole universe, everything we know is getting sucked into it.
All at once.
Yeah, everything, everywhere, all at once.
It is a singularity,
Yeah,
you would say.
Can't hide
It's a
your wives.
series of
can't
singular.
hide your daughters. It's sucking up everybody.
It's like everybody-
Oh my God. Just like someone I know. So it's a series of singularities, right?
I guess I don't know
Because if something is sucked into a black hole, I think the literal definition of that is creating a singularity because it's coming into one.
I'm gonna
Hold
be
on,
honest.
let me text my close friend Neil deGrasse Tyson real quick.
I was when
He's
they,
got some things to answer for.
when they start talking about this stuff, I'm like, yeah, okay, sure,
yeah.
okay, I get it. Yeah.
I've never heard of
I
the
don't know
term.
enough science to
Yeah.
believe this.
I don't know if it's a theoretical thing that I've never heard of. A Kugelblitz, I've never heard of that.
It doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough about science to dispute it.
Or German.
So the Umbrella Academy, the comic book, is 3 volumes that are really spread apart too. And each season has kind of followed to a degree. So like the first season was the Apocalypse Suite. And for the most part follows the
Really?
story,
Okay.
but the characters are very different. And then season 2 is Dallas. It's called Umbrella Academy Dallas, the second volume of Umbrella Academy. And it very loosely follows the ideas and then is like, when I read the 3rd volume of Umbrella Academy, which is Hotel Oblivion, I got to be honest, I read it like once. I read it twice, and I was like, I'm very confused about what's going
What is
on
happening?
right now, about what's happening in this book. And it sort of, again, super loosely follows the idea of the hotel. But the weirdest thing is that Sparrow Academy is the upcoming 4th volume of the comic book.
Oh, it's still not released.
It's not released. So they're really kind of combining
Oh.
2 separate comics, one that hasn't even come out, and cramming it into 1 season of Umbrella Academy.
So we're Game of Thrones.
I was just going to
Yes.
say, he's testing the waters to see, okay, so you didn't like the sparrows like that. Okay, I'll write them better.
And what's going to be interesting is the next season of Umbrella Academy will have nothing. You know what I mean? Because
There's no source material.
yeah, Sparrow Academy still isn't out yet. Now, to be fair, they haven't really used the source material all that much.
But a framework at least.
Yeah, the framework at least. So kind of interesting. I don't know.
Kugelblitz is an actual German word for ball lightning.
Oh,
Yeah.
But that's just like a portmanteau, like a 2-word put together. It's not like an actual theory or
Well,
anything? Or did you
like
see
a
it?
sci-
No, yeah,
Scientific
there's some. It's part of like astrophysics.
Okay.
oh, that's fun.
I can't get too much into it because the long definition it gave me was Blitz in Form einer etwa Kartfraken
Whoa.
Lugten Kugel die durch die. I don't know why it gave me a German definition, and then underneath it's like ball lightning.
I like that you're still going for it.
Un Funkenbildung entladt.
That means library. So anyway, well, the season starts off. These guys are now in the Sparrow Academy, and I guess it's a good time to talk about sparrows versus umbrellas. So let's play Name That Superhero. Who's number 1 for the Umbrella Academy? Let's see if you guys remember your characters.
Oh, who's number
George
1?
Harrison.
George Harrison.
Luther.
He's 3. No, yeah. So number 1's Luther, right? Big Monkey Man. Who's 1 for the Sparrow Academy?
Marcus.
Is that his name? Okay,
Yeah,
forgot his name
I was
already.
trying to remember. Yeah,
Marcus, who's also like the muscular guy and just seems like
He is not ape.
he's a cooler version of Luther.
He's a less hairy version.
But isn't Luther was always super strong, and
Yeah,
they did
yeah.
some experiment in that he
Oh.
he
It
had
wasn't an experiment.
it's an injection, right?
Yeah, Reginald shot him up with the same juice he hit Pogo with to
Oh.
like save his
Yeah.
life.
That's
right. Okay.
He had like a beast moment, whereas Beast had the powers before he was blue.
Kelsey Grammer.
Oh God,
Gross.
Anyway, okay, who's the number 2's? Number 2 Umbrella Academy?
Allison.
No,
Darn.
Number 2 is
it's the one with the number 2 complex.
with the number 2 complex.
Maybe not so much this season.
So Diego,
It's Diego,
Oh,
yeah.
darn.
Like he wants to be the leader, but he's not.
Okay.
Yeah, so
because he's so dumb.
Diego, who I like more and more every season.
He is so much
great.
better this season.
The first season, I hated Diego.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't stand this guy. Season
he was
2, I
Ben.
like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like way less eye rolly and way more endearing.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
because he comes to face with like who he was when he looks at now Ben, Sparrow Ben.
Yeah, so number 2 for the Sparrows is Ben,
Yeah.
which has the same exact
He is
complex.
Diego from
He's Diego
season one,
yeah.
right?
I thought that was kind of a nice touch.
Yeah.
That That
He's like, wow, you're really annoying.
when you assign that role, you're like, fine, I'm number 2. Okay. All right,
It's nice because Diego has to pull out season 1 Diego persona to match Ben's energy.
Oh yeah, that's pretty fun.
It's a good mix.
That's pretty fun.
who's number 3 on the umbrellas?
Number 3 on the umbrellas.
Allison?
It is Allison.
Okay.
Who again we'll get into, I'm sure, but horrible this season.
Horrible, and does some deplorable things that I don't think are forgivable as forgivable as they should have
They're
been.
definitely unforgivable, but
Without waffle fries.
yeah, without the waffle fries for sure. No brothers at all.
She did have brothers.
It is weird to see that character take such a complete 180, but if there were going to be a reason to take a total 180 in your personality, losing like the 2 things you love most in life,
When you
like,
live a
just
separate
completely
lifetime, yeah.
vanishing,
But-
it'd probably fuck you up
But
a little bit.
has she really lost them? Like they cease to exist?
It's like she forgets that she's from another universe.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like-
and it's like, dude, we're
Well, yeah.
trying to solve this problem, and if we solve the problem, everything's gonna go back to normal.
I mean, you don't
You know what I mean?
know that. She's like, because every time they've solved the problem, it's only gotten worse.
And it's her reality.
Yeah, but the second time she decided to marry some guy in the 60s.
yeah.
That's true.
That's not anyone else's fault.
They're from their own reality in season 1.
Yeah.
They go to
The same reality, but the past.
the same reality, but the past, creating a new reality.
Because they're Back to the Future 2, or Back to the Future
in season 2.
Yeah.
They create a new reality,
Yeah.
right?
Because they're kissing their moms and stuff like that.
And now in season 3, they are in a different.
I was like, wait, what? Did I fall
do they-
asleep in an episode?
do they find themselves in a different reality now in season 3?
Yeah, because they went back and they interacted with Hargreaves.
Right.
And Hargreaves hates him now because he
Hated them when they met them.
when they went out in the 60s.
in season 2.
So then fast forward to the future. Oh, and then the other thing is they interact with Harlan, giving him superpowers. That's the 2 things
Pretty awesome.
that really kind of mess up everything in the future for him. But
Yeah, I just felt like you were saying, when she lost like her daughter exists in her primary universe, right?
yes,
In the first
which-
universe.
And I'm going to be honest, for some reason, I just watched them last night, but they feel kind of fuzzy in my head. What they kind of reset, right? They sort of,
The first reality.
but not really though.
Did Allison have her daughter in the first?
So they come back. Well, it's weird. How do like multiple realities work? You know what I mean? But there's like reality 1 from season 1,
Yeah.
which they go back in time in, and then kind of screw up that timeline. So already reality 1 isn't really reality 1, but like reality 1A.
Yeah.
And then they come out of
They go
back in
back to the
time.
future.
They go back to the future, but it's also a different future, like
Reality
1B.
2. Oh.
You know?
Yeah,
reality
because
1B,
it's changed.
because it's changed. Like
they don't exist in
Claire
that
doesn't
future.
exist because Allison
None of them
shouldn't
exist. Yeah.
But then they go back to the reality at the end, right? Or was that a dream?
I think it's a
sequence?
new
Well, then
reality.
that's reality like
reset.
1.5?
A,
It's weird.
It would
5,
technically be
right?
2.0, right?
the weird-
Because it's a full reset.
Yeah.
Allison
yeah, true.
is shown with her daughter. It's like she reunites at the end.
but it's
then-
not her and Jack or whatever this other guy's name is. It's her
the
and
husband
Ray's
from the
daughter.
60s.
What?
But in present day, you don't remember the scene?
oh,
She
wow.
goes in and talks to her daughter, but then her husband's
He's
at the
like,
door and
hey,
it's,
little mama.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
he goes,
that.
oh.
Oh.
And then,
Okay, so now
But how is his daughter? How is her daughter the
don't
same?
know.
That's how genetics
I
work.
don't know.
You can't have a daughter with a different person.
I don't know. Either way, it doesn't warrant her being angry at Harlan or being angry, I guess, kind of angry for holding a secret back from Victor.
Yes.
I get that, but not enough to like try and kill people.
Are you saying you've never lashed out at somebody who didn't really deserve it?
No, I totally get that. I totally get
Yes.
that. But
to
I
do
didn't,
it for 10 episodes.
and I also didn't
Well,
try.
I mean, I don't think you were mad about something as large
I don't
as
think-
what Allison
Yes.
I
was.
don't think I've been as mad as to sexually assault my brother. That's for sure.
Oh, that's
I've
true,
not
too.
been that mad.
I'd honestly forgot about that a little bit already. I put it out of my mind because, wow.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
he forgives her at the end, I was just like, Luther, I know you're a nice guy and all that stuff, but there's something very wrong with what she did.
Yeah.
Luther's got a heart of gold to the point where he is a bit of a putz.
Well, yeah.
Allison,
But no one else knows that happened, too.
Allison murders somebody, commits sexual assaults.
Yeah,
Well, most sexual assaults go unreported, unfortunately.
That's true.
that is true. by family members.
What's the other one? She does something else too.
Well,
she
she gets-
makes a deal with Reginald.
Yeah.
behind
Oh,
everybody.
she gets,
she betrays the family.
Unknowingly gets Klaus and Luther.
Yes, she's complicit in the death of her siblings.
To serve
gives
her
her-
personal agenda.
Yeah.
She gives herself a haircut in a time of emotional distress, which is just a bad idea.
And
Don't do
also,
that.
how is she cutting her hair like this? So
It was such a clean cut.
it's such a clean
for a
cut for
glass.
just a piece of glass. Wow. Okay, so anyway, sorry, we were just going through the numbers. We got hung up on Allison. So Allison's 3, right?
a reason why I don't like Allison right now.
Yeah. Who's Sparrow 3?
Oh,
Is it Sparrow Lady?
that's Faye. I
Faye?
believe. Yes.
Fei, yeah.
Who I hated in the beginning, but started to grow on.
Same.
She's
The-
kinda cool.
The first time they met, and then towards the end, I'm like, yeah, I really like Faye.
I was
She's
like-
a troll.
I
Yeah,
was like,
love a
she's
troll.
straight out of the Matrix.
She does. She looks
I
like
love her. The
NPC.
first interaction between them when she's like shitting on Diego's hair, and he's just like, "Hey, this was a stylish haircut in the time I was in."
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And he's right.
yeah.
Okay, who's Umbrella 4?
Umbrella 4 is Klaus.
Yes,
Cool.
Klaus.
Nice.
I forgot what his name is. They all have
he have a
superhero
subtitle?
names, but they don't use them in the show. I forgot. Anyways, who's Sparrow 4?
Is it
Is it?
is it Alfonso or is
I
it
think
Chris?
it's Venom Lady.
It's Alfonso.
Oh,
Alfonso has this power to like absorb.
he's I'm rubber and you're glue, whatever. It's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
60 you.
It's also there's an interesting thing that they don't explicitly say, but you can tell because his face is all messed up. It's like saggy and misshapen, and they have
Looks a bit like a nutsack,
He
Yeah.
does very much.
There's
so.
a scene
and not a healthy one.
where they go back in time a little bit, like they show a flashback of the sparrows, and his face is like still messed up, but not as much. So it's like every time he's using his power, when he absorbs something, his body like shows it, but he doesn't feel it, which I thought was kind of an interesting.
That's cool.
Little thing that they don't even talk about. They
No.
just show it. I thought that was
when
cool
he gets
idea.
punched in the face and a chunk of his chin falls off, and Diego's like, "Dude, your chin." He's like, "That happens."
Yeah.
That's pretty gross.
He's pretty fun. He doesn't play a huge role.
No, his character serves his purpose.
Yeah.
And I even though he's like cartoony evil, it's not as bad as the
Cartoony evil, but also super nonchalant.
right, which I dug. It's not like so try hard as Venom Lady.
Oh, he ain't trying hard at all.
No, I
Okay,
love that.
who's number 5?
When they're all there on the treadmills, he's just like walking.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's just chilling. Who's number 5 on the Umbrella Academy?
Number 5.
Number 5. Yeah, you're right. It's number 5.
Yes.
It's crazy how this guy simultaneously looks older, but also looks exactly the same.
He's gotten taller.
He's gotten taller for sure, and I feel like they're trying to hide it sometimes. But
They're
We
doing
looked it
an
up.
opposite Mark Wahlberg angle.
yeah,
Well, we looked it up. He's 18 now, and he's
Nice.
5'5".
5'5".
But there were scenes where he would like stand next to Klaus, and I didn't realize how tall Klaus is. Klaus is probably like 6'1". Like he's a full 6 inches taller than but he does. Aiden Gillian, I think is his
Gallagher.
name. Gallagher, that's his name. Aiden Gillian is the one from Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's funny.
Littlefinger.
Oh, yeah.
So I was confusing that.
That's interesting. 5'5" is still pretty short. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's good
Even for being 18, that
it's
is
good
kind
that
of
they worked it out.
Yeah.
Like, what if he ended up being like 6'3" or something? What if he ended up just
That would have been
shooting
weird.
like
What if he
Sprout?
looked like Finn Wolfhard when they came back? You
Oh,
know what I mean?
shoot.
It's hard to disguise. Or Will.
Yeah. Nancy comes back next season. She's just all ripped. Whoa.
She's just like Natalie Portman
Yeah.
big.
She watched Thor: Love and Thunder, and she's like, that could be me. Huge yoked giant traps.
Who is number 5 from the Sparrow Academy?
5 is Sloane, the one who's probably sticks around the most.
Yeah.
The one who's
Chesty
probably-
McChest.
How dare you? Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
How dare you
I am-
value a woman like that? Danny?
I'm not valuing her like that. The showrunners are valuing her like that.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Danny didn't costume her.
Yeah.
I didn't, and I didn't set up all the camera angles either.
Yeah, the camera angles are the part that's the biggest sin. You know,
We get it. She has boobs. Umbrella Academy. We
They're
get
like,
it.
They're like, we haven't got to do this before. Let's do it the whole season.
They're running around back there looking for shirts with more cleavage. Like, the nerds need the boobs. The nerds
Yeah,
need the
the fan
boobs.
service was crazy.
Yeah, it felt a little anime-ish.
Yeah.
You know? Cool character,
Which
though.
I get,
Yeah.
but you were saying she's someone semi-famous?
Is she? Was I saying that?
I thought you said she was
feel like
Steve
I've never seen
Winwood's
her
daughter.
face
Didn't
before.
you say that?
No. In that scene where her and Luther.
Oh, is that
getting
who's
on-
singing it?
Yeah, the person who's
Oh.
singing that song is Steve Winwood's daughter. So
I was like, wow.
back to what Danny was talking about being like maybe too on the nose. There's a scene where Luther and Sloane, who become love interests, they're hooking up for the first time, and she's using her gravity powers to float them both in the air, kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street, but like less murdering.
Kind of like Spider-Man, but like less magical.
Yeah, exactly.
The Spider-Man kiss.
Less rain.
Oh wow, she's in Tusk.
Oh really? Is she the
Whoa.
walrus or what?
What?
No.
What a gap.
But anyways, she says while they're doing that scene in the movie, they're playing Higher Love, which is it's like okay.
Bring me a higher love.
And it's Steve Winwood's daughter who's
which is a
singing
dope song,
that
but
cover.
which shouldn't be acoustic covered, but
But they're like, oh, look at this! They're about to
It's
they're
like-
about to make love,
It's like
above.
love, but higher.
Yes,
get it because she's above ground.
yeah.
But gravity power, pretty cool.
Yeah,
Good joke. Good
kind of
joke.
cool.
Yeah,
Underutilized.
Yeah.
Could have helped a lot more.
she doesn't really. They don't explore her too much as a fighter. They're just busy making her Luther's girlfriend.
Right.
Not until the very end.
Yeah.
And she still doesn't help that much.
And honestly, I feel like getting into the her role. I feel like she's not an individual enough of a character. Like her role is to serve as Luther's girlfriend.
Right.
Her role is not to be her own character.
She's a set piece.
Yeah, she's like, oh, we need to give someone to Luther, and we're gonna write this girl to
And
be
the
like,
bridge between the families a bit.
yes, which helps. Which helps.
Well, it's like a woman's purpose in like the 1400s.
Right. They don't give her own identity enough. Like the only parts that they give a personal point of view on is like how she feels outcasted from the rest of her family.
Yeah.
And we get that, but we don't get to see anything past like, all right, she's Luther's first.
She's also it's that Bechdel test thing. You know, it's like, does this character serve her own function that's not dependent on a man?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, no, she doesn't. And with the other thing too is she's so sweet. She's the only nice one.
Yeah.
It's a shame that you don't get more of her. I think though she'll be back in this season.
Maybe they'll
I think
give her
Luther's
some-
going to look for her. She should exist.
Yeah.
You know, now that they're back in somewhat of a normal reality. Of course, we don't get to explore it that much, so it's kind of like
No. We
Like-
get a very quick glimpse and then one last shot of like, wait, what?
yeah.
It's a lot of Hargreaves.
Okay,
Number
so
6.
Number 6. Who is it on Umbrellas?
Ben?
Yeah, it's Dead Ben.
Yeah, because Vanya's 7, right?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
Victor, depending on the season.
Victor.
Now I'm also wondering. Did you guys catch it? Does Ben come through the portal with him at the end? Is he alive now? I think I saw him
Yes.
there.
Yeah, Ben is there
Yeah,
at
he
the
was
final
there.
group.
So I think they're gonna.
But it is Ben 2.0.
It's 2 Ben, not
Yeah.
6 Ben.
Evil Ben.
But they also they make a whole point of Klaus saying like, "Hey, that guy, that he's not here anymore, guys. He's not the old Ben. He's new Ben.
New Ben.
He's new.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben. He's tolerable, guys.
I think they did. Sorry, go ahead.
Ben and Klaus hook up?
No, they're like
night of
close
the
brothers.
wedding?
I'm pretty sure they're just
No,
really
that,
close.
That was just in your fan fiction.
No, because there's like, they wake up together and then there's a comment, I think like Allison or somebody makes when they're all talking like in the hungover state the next morning, like, well, even Ben hooked up with somebody.
What?
I don't remember that. Maybe.
Well, you're talking about fan fiction, and as as far as fan fiction goes, there's this part where they're
excuse me.
taking on the Guardian or something like that. And well, I mean, there's parts throughout the whole season where Ben uses his powers, and I was just like, I'll bet you there's a fan fiction for that.
Rule 42.
Tentacle.
Tentacle man.
Yeah.
He gets those tentacles slashed too. It looked painful.
Yeah. Wonder if he grows them back.
I was wondering the same thing. I was like, is that it?
Are you done with powers now?
That'd be pretty useful. Pretty useful. Pretty useless.
Because he was the most powerful one in Old Umbrella Academy, right?
They
saying
didn't
like-
know about Vanya at the time.
right.
Either, so.
But he was regarded as having the most
Yeah.
most useful powers.
because he's over here like summoning Lovecraftian monsters.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. He was cool.
I think this part of the writing of the season is just like, can we just get Ben back in the show?
Yeah.
Like it's just so
How
we
do
can
we
have him.
push him into reality again?
Yeah, how can we bring him back to life without the Dragon Balls? And they did it.
Yeah, which seems weird because they could have just used Klaus now that we know what we know.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Anyways.
Okay, so who's 6 for the Sparrows?
Venom Lady.
Venom Lady. Jamie.
Yeah, what is her name?
Jamie.
Yeah.
Jamie.
She's like that chick from what's her name? The Bee in Apartment 23. What's that chick's name?
Oh yeah.
She looks like a knockoff version of her. Jessica Jones.
Kristen Ritter. Yeah,
Kristen
she does
Ritter.
look like knockoff Kristen Ritter.
Yeah.
That's weird.
She's just so angry. She's
Cute,
spiteful and spiteful.
Oh, just like an alpaca.
Yeah, very much. And what's her power? She
Pretty
just, like,
lame power.
She just like kind of infects them, right?
She's
She's
kinda
like
strong.
a venomous toad.
It is. It is Hypnotoad.
Yeah, it's Hypnotoad. Man, a lot of Futurama in this.
That
I love Hypnotoad.
yeah, the first time she hits Diego and he has that like hallucination of having a dance off, I thoroughly enjoyed that like dance off. That was
I
pretty
was
fun.
just like, wouldn't be first scene of a new season of Umbrella Academy without a dance off.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing. They
I was
always-
definitely
yeah.
like, how are they doing this again? This is stupid. And then he snaps out of it. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty good.
I always want to know like the casting procedure, like before every Umbrella Academy. Okay, how dumb do you look on screen dancing? Come on, let's go.
Ma'am, can you smush them together, please?
I've never seen a show with more dancing that's not
It's-
like about
yeah.
dancing. They do it every season. They hit 2 this time too because they had the karaoke
At
thing.
least 2,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's probably more. It's fun. I think another thing though too, and maybe this is a producer side effect. I don't know. In the first season, that dancing when they're doing Dancing by Myself,
Oh man,
and they're all dancing.
Dancing
By themselves?
with myself.
Oh wait,
it is
Oh no,
with myself.
That,
isn't
I'm
it?
thinking later on in season 1 when Five's
Yeah.
fighting.
no,
other
that's season
Five.
2.
Season
Oh,
2.
5 and 5 Dance with Myself.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, that scene was very like viral. I guess it was shared a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It was good promo. It was like, look how fun this show is. It's got dancing in it.
And
You know what? There was a lot of dancing in season 3 because there's that
Yeah.
first hallucination. There's when they do the karaoke at the bachelor party. There's the wedding. There's the celebration
Yeah.
when like, when do they think? Is it?
Oh, where they think they contained the Kugel?
Yeah, they thought they contained the Kugelblitz. They have a
Yeah.
big
I think
old
it's like
dance party.
episode 6 or something like that.
Everybody's
Yeah.
dancing and Ben's like,
Ba-dum, bam, ba-dum. Boom, boom, boom. That's not the song. It would have been good though.
And then they dance again. This might be the wedding scene you're talking about when they're playing. I've had the time of my life.
No, that's the bachelor party.
Okay, that's the part we're thinking of.
Just singing karaoke.
That
Yeah,
was a
there's a
good
lot.
part.
There's a lot.
Dun, 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 dun.
Silly.
Great time.
Okay, so we're almost through the people. 7.
Christopher. on
Christopher,
Sparrow.
which is the QB.
And Victor.
Yes, Victor. Which, speaking of, I mean, I feel like you got to talk about it.
Yeah,
Um,
very well handled.
I thought it was so well written.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
the only part I had an issue with was the tiny retcon where Victor's like, yeah, when I was playing with my action figures when we were kids. It's like there's no mention
No.
to Victor's predilection.
She was just
towards
a
action
violinist
figures. Yeah,
that
she
we
was just a
remember.
violinist, a sad violinist.
That read books and stuff. That's all I.
It bums me out that that Victor is no longer interested in the violin. Like, you're telling me that
was
he's
a big part of their
violinist?
identity.
Yeah, and he's like giving lessons, plays in the orchestra,
Mm-hmm.
and then now no violin. I
no,
don't.
that
I don't buy
last
it.
student really sucked.
Yeah, but still, you do a little bit of playing.
I was honestly saddened by their lack of style. I was like, you know,
yeah.
Vanya had like an identity and style.
Victor's
But
outfits suck.
Victor's outfits suck. I feel like they're too on the nose of just being like, okay, yes, you're dressing like a basic man,
Yeah,
but the haircut also, like, what haircut are you going for here?
Yeah,
it's
Elliot.
like he looks like Chris Evans before he gets the super soldier syndrome.
He looks like a boy that's lived his entire life on a farm and then just got thrust into the big city. Like he just got off of the bus.
Elliot is so short. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like next to Luther or something. You're like, what?
Yeah, and I think even Raven commented on this. She was saying that like the haircut, it's hard. His head is so difficult to like find the right haircut for because of how it's shaped, and I get that. There's so many like styles you can do as a guy though with your hair that I feel like there could have been better styles,
better choices than the one
Tobey
they went with.
Maguire. You know what I mean? Like,
They had to give someone else the Spider-Man 3 cut.
It could have been worse. It could have done a forced Costanza, you know.
You know, Netflix, and I said it in the previous episode, I guess, but Netflix always loves to throw in a gay character. Like it's one of their favorite things in the world. This is one of the first times that it
is a cliche.
It feels just so well thought out this time.
Yeah.
And actually like a part of the plot that they explore, as opposed to just like, oh, let's just pander a little bit. You know what I mean?
And I don't think it needs to be as triggering. And they made that in the writing well. Like, they just have to be like, it just doesn't have to be as huge of a deal
Yeah.
as like taking an entire episode for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, like everybody who gets the information is
like,
even Harlan's like, all right, cool. No, yeah, we can do this now.
Even
Like, I'm happy for you.
asshole
Which
Ben.
is the way it should be.
even asshole Ben's like, okay.
All right, cool. You made a decision about yourself that makes you feel better and really doesn't affect me at all. Good for you.
Yeah. Everyone can learn.
Even Reginald Hargreaves.
Yeah. Who you would think if anyone's gonna be bigoted, it'll be
Right.
Well, he's an alien though.
You know what's
He's
funny?
seen some
I've got to say, for being a set piece character for the first 2 seasons, he just rocks this season. He just kills it this season because you get to see a different side of him and stuff. But I think the actor who portrays him and just the way that he's portrayed in general is excellent this season.
Good actor.
Even season 2, I liked season 2 more than season 1 Reginald, because Reginald's baseline terrible. Season 2, he's like unabashedly like brutal. You know what I mean? I really like that. And then I like soft Reggie too.
Old man Reggie.
Yeah,
That was really fun.
Old man drugged up by his kids, Reggie.
He's like just sitting in his room. Just
Yeah, the relationship between him and Klaus is delightful.
that was great. I think through like mid-season, I was just like getting frustrated because I was just like, are we just not going to talk about the fact that he's an alien? Like, I was just like, that was like a big reveal
they
last
dropped
season.
that bomb and then kind of they're like, okay.
And I was like, does no one know that he's an alien?
Yeah, that's a little confusing.
But I mean, they even kind of acknowledge it this season, and I'm just like, okay.
They
well,
give you a tiny red herring, like they're about to talk to it a couple times. Like, Five goes and investigates with Pogo, and he comes to confront him. He's like, Pogo told me the truth about you, and as a viewer, you're like, oh, here we go, and it's like. You never cared about us. And it's like,
not a season. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, everybody knows he doesn't care.
We took a whole episode for you to come back with information we all know. Which is sad because I wanted more Pogo, but I know he's expensive to put on screen.
Yeah. Oh, and the CGI in the season.
I mean, you got to train that chimpanzee how to talk, how to do the British accent. It's got to be very time consuming.
they used whatever CGI budget they had to pull off Pogo, because some of this looks awful in this show.
What? I was gonna say that the scenery at Oblivion, looks good at the end.
that
I was
stuff's
like, wow,
okay.
some of it's so pretty that I was just like, ooh, Oblivion looks nice.
There's a, and I have it in here so you guys can check it out. In episode 6 of the season, at 11 minutes and 15 seconds,
it's got
there's
a
a
timestamp.
part where Sloane is giving. It's right after they have sex.
Nice.
And Sloane is giving Luther some nut butter. Oh, come on, guys.
Wait, what?
I mean, it has to be intentional. It has to be intentional. He's bringing up snacks, and he's like, "Oh, good, you didn't forget the nut butter."
Wow.
And I'm like, this is beautiful. So then she gravity pushes the butter towards Luther, and he grabs the CGI object and sets it on the bed, and it looks so horrific. You need to look for the moment that the butter touches the bed, which is a sentence I don't say every day. But, wow, it's gonna be.
I doubt
I'm
that.
not going to go back to check it out today.
It's gonna be confounding, guys.
I doubt that you haven't said that every day.
We all know you like being called the Swedish chef in the bedroom.
I would do a Swedish chef sound, but I'm not gonna pull it off. You know what? There's one more person you got to talk about too, who is like unofficial number 8 now. I guess is Lila.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't like Lila.
Really?
I love Lila.
I love Lila too.
She's better in this season. I really thought we were rid of her in the second season. I thought like at the end of the second season, I was like, all right, cool, that's over with.
It's because you've been watching so much Indiana Jones that when the lady leaves, you're like, okay, she's done.
Okay, she's
The
done.
love
I
interest.
don't ever have to think about that ever again.
Who they bring in next season?
To be fair, the Temple of Doom lady is the worst, man, and they don't bring her
she is.
back for a reason.
well, obviously. Yeah. Which in the chronology too, she's the first one. Because Temple of Doom is
Takes
a prequel.
place before
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's true. That's true.
But anyways.
Dun, dun, dun. I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's probably the best. Anyway, sorry, we're talking about bad CGI. We can tie that in. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Terrible CGI.
Yeah, CGI is bad.
God awful prairie dogs in CGI. Why do we need prairie dogs so
I
much?
love that. Enough about Indiana Jones, but Indiana Jones, right?
Sorry, I can't. equate 2008 CGI to Umbrella. Actually, yeah, I can. I
mean,
guess.
it's unfortunate, but you can equate a lot of early 2000 CGI with a lot of the CGI that's coming out right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
We've taken some large steps back, unfortunately.
I think so. I think it's gotten like cheaper to do it.
It's
So
dollar
then
store
they're-
CGI
Yeah,
now,
they're-
you know?
you can tell. Even some Marvel stuff is looking really bad lately.
Some
Or
of the
like-
stuff in Multiverse of Madness.
Or Obi-Wan. There's some parts.
Oh,
where
I
it's
haven't
like,
checked it,
Oh, this
yeah.
looks bad.
It's like they stopped using like CGI farms in like Asia, and now they're going straight to like Estonia or
Yeah.
something.
Or they're just using whatever's in like a CGI server farm or something that they can just like tap into, you know?
Hey guys, have you seen this new free app on the phone? I think we could just use this.
Actually pay a subscription to CGI Shutterstock.
Yeah. Obi-Wan definitely has a feeling like that. It's got a feeling of like, okay, what if like we gave a student film like this really nice
Really?
camera and then like really nice.
It looks that cheap?
Set. I think so, dude. You guys got to watch a
Because The
couple episodes of
Mandalorian
it.
has like an echelon of production value.
Yes.
That is probably peak Star Wars.
Obi-Wan kind of feels like, hey, we'll let you sneak onto the Obi-Wan set to make your fan film. And
Interesting.
then these kids are like, oh yeah, sweet.
Weird.
It looks really bad, I think.
I've heard from people whose opinion I can't trust that Obi-Wan is good, but
It's not bad. It's almost like I was almost going to tell you guys, if you want to check it out, just watch the last episode, and I think
really
you'll be okay.
Okay, that's all I've heard about is the last episode.
Everything that's like memorable and necessary is in that episode, and you can kind of infer the rest. It might be better that way. I don't know.
All the people who have told me about it are people that I consider to have Star Wars shutters on or Star Wars blinders on. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of very, entrenched Star Wars opinions.
Yeah, the people that just want to see the stuff on screen and don't care about the quality of it.
Well, you know what? We hit Indiana Jones. We hit Star Wars.
sorry.
Back to Umbrella Academy.
Now we got to hit Jaws.
I love Jaws. No, anyways.
I do love
Shark's
Jaws.
pretty big, right?
Well, with Lila, who I really like. I like the character a lot. I also like her and Diego's dynamic. I
Yeah,
feel like
that
there's-
is good.
There's a lot
And I
of
love the
real
little
chemistry.
head kid.
Oh, Ashtray!
Ashtray shows up.
Love Ashtray,
I thought he was
man.
terrible in this show. I thought he was really bad.
He's fine.
He's such a better actor in Euphoria.
Dude, he kills it.
And I
man.
was telling Michelle, I was like, I think this is when you can tell like a director's really good and a director's like, okay.
Yeah.
But also the reveal with Ashtray, I think maybe the actor was actually kind of playing into some of the awkwardness a little bit because of the lie that's going on.
Whew, and the person that was teaching Lila how to pantomime drums really should be fired.
She's actually a drummer.
Is she?
Yeah,
Well, she
she's-
plays terribly.
She's in a band. Yeah.
Yikes.
I had to
Because
look it
who reaches like this to hit a cymbal that's on your left?
Did you guys know there was a Cleveland, Tennessee? Getting a robocall from there, but
Weird.
that's how I found out.
I was like, is that in the show?
No.
That's hilarious.
Weird.
I just had to share that. I was like, what?
It's from a Kugel Blitz dimension.
Well, I mean, that's cool and all, but she's still a bad drummer.
their band's okay.
Oh, okay.
They just put out a single.
Nice.
The drums aren't very impressive in it.
I didn't expect him
Yeah.
to be.
Wow.
Hating.
Danny, hating Danny over here.
And it's not because she's a woman, it's just because she sucks.
Well, now that you've brought that up, it really seems like that's the reason, If you hadn't have said anything.
It's because she sucks.
Okay.
Terrible technique.
So, I mean, I guess that's pretty much all the characters, and we've kind of hopped around a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we left anybody out, but
Any
I mean, we just get religious zealot Grace.
yeah, that's true.
That was weird, yeah.
That's a weird role for that lady. She's played a different role every season.
And they didn't explain, like, what are the symbols that she's chalkboarding out in front of, like, this
No.
thing, or...
I wouldn't understand. It's a computer thing.
It's like, what was that movie that we watched where it was like, was it The New Matrix? You just gotta feel, don't think about it.
Oh, turn your brain off, and, yeah.
No, they literally say it in the
Yeah,
movie. They're
that's
like,
true.
feel, don't think.
Sounds like Jurassic World, too.
Yeah.
Feel. Spend more money. Stop asking questions.
Get a refill.
Yeah, so... Yeah, that is weird, that we do have religious zealot Grace, and kind of ruins your impression of everything.
Yeah, of her, I guess.
for
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
of her. But I thought it was fun. It's another thing too, where you're like, well, this character doesn't really count because
And again,
she's just a version in another universe that's going to be gone.
yeah.
So.
And the rules what are the rules? What are the rules? Because
Who knows,
Marcus disappeared from touching this thing, but Grace can go up and put her eyeball in it, or other people can get real close to it.
Well, what's it? Ben takes the eyeball and holds it right up to
Touches
the
it.
Kugelblitz.
He doesn't touch it. He gets it really close
Yeah.
and it sucks it
I
in.
doubt Marcus even got that close.
I was like,
Marcus.
dude, yeah, he
Marcus
touched it.
like went to take a little dip.
I'm over here concerned though. Like, I would not be putting my hand that close. I'd put it like on a little shovel or something. I'm like,
And that's
sorry.
honestly how I had rationalized the whole Grace thing in my head. Like it was some type of interference, like screwing with her wiring and,
I could see that.
and her stuff.
it is energy. Yeah.
The Kugelblitz starts emitting, and every time it emits, it sucks things in.
It Kugel blasts.
And yeah, and when it Kugel blasts, at first it's just a few people or like small animals, and then it's more people, and then it's like land. But the part that doesn't make sense to me is like, okay, it's growing. You see the epicenter growing, and it starts destroying everything around it. But it's just funny that the hotel isn't really destroyed when it's in actuality like geographically very close to the Sparrow
it is
Academy.
the epicenter.
I mean, it ends
yeah.
up being like the last thing. It seems like.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that why he
But,
constructed it?
but everything else in the entire world is, well, you have to assume it's because of this door that's
This portal or whatever.
the interdimensional door that it's saved for last, I guess. But it's just very confusing.
You know, we did forget a character. He's small but endearing. The hotel concierge of the
I
hotel.
don't remember his
Oh,
name.
yeah.
Cool dude.
He's like a creepy little creep guy. He DJs the wedding.
Oh yeah,
Do you think he was a robot?
could be.
He could have been.
Michelle was like, "Is this guy a
Hargreaves will
robot?"
put a robot
and I
around.
was like, "Well, it's Hargreaves built the place. It could be him."
Yeah.
I was trying to look at when he gets Thanos snapped when he's like getting sucked in the
Aw.
Kugelblitz.
He looked organic.
But he,
to me,
yeah, I couldn't. Well, I couldn't tell it. They just turned to dust.
Yeah,
It's like
well, you see
everyone
some
looks that way.
tissue.
We
rip
needed
and
to
stuff,
see
but,
Grace
like,
get sucked in to really know.
Get a
we
nice
don't.
comparison.
find
Yeah.
out her fate either.
I mean, she gets her neck snapped in the hallway.
Oh, that's right.
Just leave her there.
Yeah, that's right. Although, does neck snapping a robot
also-
do anything? I was like, wait
Well,
a
yeah,
second.
it's like
what?
you're still going to. It's the same thing. We are meat machines. It's all
Yeah.
about disconnecting the control center from the electricity going.
Do we
out to
know the
rest of
control
limb.
center's in the brain though?
I mean, where are you going to put it in her butt?
In the chest where there's all this room.
That would be a safe countermeasure.
Yeah, they'll
no
never
one's,
find
no
it
one's
there.
gonna think it's
That's
there.
where you put the reset button.
Ah, that is fun.
yeah.
Okay, so the Kugelblitz doesn't really make a lot of sense, but there's one scene that really doesn't make sense. It's like Klaus and Hargreaves become an unlikely friendship this season, which is really sweet. They go out and he's training Klaus to better, control his power. Again, very cool. And they're way off in the, I don't know, it's the city limits or whatever. And in the second to last episode, everyone's at, the hotel and they keep showing these outside shots of the hotel and it's like most of the world's destroyed. It's
Yeah.
like they're on this floating island.
Yeah.
And then they come back. They just like drive in and show up. And it's like, where are you guys? Where are they coming from? You know what I mean? Like, where did they just drive in from? Everything's destroyed. They just showed the shot. And the whole world is like,
where they get back to the hotel.
yeah, and they
Okay.
just drive in. They're like, oh, what's up? What's up, guys? We were just hanging out.
With little games.
And then they cut back to the outside shot. It's like,
I don't know when they come back if it
decimated.
is still like the island already. I'd have to rewatch it again.
I don't know.
they show the island at the beginning of the episode, like destroyed.
And then Klaus and
Because in the
Hargreaves come back.
previous episode, Klaus and Hargreaves are like out in the
Yeah.
sunny outside countryside,
Yeah.
beautiful day.
That hasn't been
Singing "Life
destroyed.
is a Highway" together,
Yeah.
assumedly.
And then the next episode, it's like, oh, desolate. The Kugelblitz is destroying everything, and then Hargreaves and Klaus just show up. They're
It's
like, hey,
pretty
what's up,
much where Luther and Allison get engaged, and then I remember like seeing the sky.
Sloane.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Sloan. And I'm just like looking at the sky, and I'm like, wait. When did everything turn into like oblivion?
There is a moment like that too. It's
I
like,
was like,
is
whoa,
everything
what?
on fire right
What's
now?
going
all
on?
these
Yeah.
lights? And Michelle's like, oh, all the buildings are getting destroyed. And
And I was
like,
just like, but
when?
there was sun like 5 minutes ago.
It's a little confusing.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
in that like second to last wave. You see it just like blow everything up.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're getting away with a little late season Game of Thronesing jetpacking locations.
Yes, for sure.
Yada yadas.
Well, we probably should start wrapping it up. Any other big thoughts about?
Should we talk about what's left to ponder?
Well,
Well, I mean,
season.
you get left with the same big question you do at the end of every season. What the is happening now?
Well, who
Yeah.
is? Spoiler alert. Who is Abigail Hargreaves?
I'm assuming like his mom or something. It's
Or-
not the wife, right?
I think it's his real wife. Because it
I
said
just
deceased on the.
I'd assume that she had the same name as the robot.
Well, I would think so.
Grace.
Would think so. It could be his real daughter or something.
It is Grace because he goes. I have a robocall too. How funny!
I got robocalled earlier.
It's
Weird.
Maybe the warranty on our automobiles is about to expire.
So
It's very important that we call him to settle this matter.
in season 2, when they're back in time, they meet Hargreaves, and he's with Grace.
A real Grace.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we assume, like she dies tragically or something, and then he's gonna make Robo Grace.
Like when they meet real life Grace, they're all just like, "Oh, Dad, gross."
Yeah,
Maybe it could be his real biological daughter or something.
Maybe.
But why is she
he have
frozen?
a human daughter?
I don't know. Why
Yeah,
is
he's
why is
also
she
an alien.
frozen on the moon?
And he refers to her as like the most important thing in the universe.
Yeah.
Like something's happening there.
So it's the thought that Luther's journey to the moon was not pointless. Was not.
yeah, he was doing something to maintain that without knowing.
right. But why was she on the moon frozen? Does she have superpowers? I assumedly so. Right.
I would think.
nobody puts baby in a corner, but they didn't say anything about sticking her on the moon.
Stick her on the moon.
And she looks super old compared to even Hargreaves when she's
Like in
resurrected.
2.0, in
Yeah,
reality
in
2.0.
new 2.0, yeah. Seems like Hargreaves is essentially Richard Branson or something
Yeah.
in this new reality. And they're at the top of their penthouse looking down and holds hands with this person in a romantic or in a parenting way. Who knows?
That'll probably be the crux of next season. I think that'll be the big plot point. I think you're gonna have Luther searching for Sloane.
Yeah.
You're gonna have Ben dealing with coming back to life, but not really, like joining a new reality. You know what I
We'll
mean?
get another little crumb into Ben's death. You know what I mean? We got the whole Jennifer incident thing in this one.
Yeah.
We
And-
get a little crumb, but not the whole.
Also, the biggest thing is
Hi.
that no one has powers. In this new
yeah.
universe.
They come back and their powers don't work anymore. But of course, they're gonna get that back. They're gonna take some of that compound V.
Oh, we can hope. 24-hour V.
Yeah. But
There was just one quote that absolutely killed me in episode 8, so I wrote it down. So it's between Reginald and Klaus, I'm pretty sure. When he's trying to tell him to like lighten up, he's like, "But they'll never improve their capabilities if they don't have an acute understanding of how incredibly incompetent and disappointing they are."
And it's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 100% true. Like,
Yeah.
as much as a jerk as he is, like, they're all so inept because they let their own egos get in the way of everything. You know what I mean? It was just beautiful. It's like, no, Reginald really wants to make these kids better, but at the same time, it's for his own means.
yes.
to be honest, like one thing that I thought was super refreshing at the end of this season was when the point where they just said, "No, we're not gonna do anything." When Five meets himself, and I was just like, "That's a cool take."
Yeah.
They should just not do anything.
Yeah, they're down.
Because they're the reason that everything goes wrong. And I was just like, you know what? This is cool. No more saving the world. Let's just chill out and let oblivion happen and see what happens.
Let's have a wedding. Let's get smashed. See what happens.
And I was just like, this is refreshing. And then, of course, they don't end up doing that. But I was like, dang, that would have been really cool.
That would have been a good choice. Yeah, I mean, overall, a good season.
Yeah.
It's not the strongest one. I think great character moments. The show used to, especially season 1, used to remind me of kind of like a Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
But it's
I can
sort
see
of
that.
transformed into like Arrested Development.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So it's like part X-Men, part Arrested Development, part Back to the Future.
To be fair to the writing staff, it's really tough when you start messing with time. Everyone knows when
Yeah.
you start messing with time in your plot, like there's just plot holes all over the place, and it's really hard to make something neat.
That's true.
You know, look at
true.
Back to the Future Part 3.
Also, something has been done so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess
You're not Primer.
that.
yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's definitely not
I
as-
still think that's
def-
one of the best examples.
It's definitely not as boring as Primer.
Oh!
No, I love Primer. So anyway, that's it for Umbrella Academy Season 3. It's time to move on to Character Limit Extended.
A little more conversation.
Yeah, I like that.
About Elvis.
Yeah.
It's the segment where we talk a little bit more about a movie we talked a little bit about just about a week ago.
Yeah,
Nice.
something like that.
I always mess it up.
That's good.
Yeah, so it's Elvis, who had the Hemingway?
Didn't you?
Yeah, it was
I
you.
did, yeah. Okay, so I'll start it off. Man, Elvis is like a movie that I went in expecting to be like, okay, this will be a passable experience. I'm probably not gonna be crazy about this. And man, I really enjoyed Elvis.
Then you found yourself like a 16-year-old girl and on stage in Elvis, throwing your underwear at the movie screen.
I'm trying to think about. Oh yeah, I mean, my review was basically just saying, and man, this was a rough one to get 6 words on. I was saying that there's parts of this movie that feel like too much, especially at the beginning. It's like sensory overload. But I think it really falls into a groove. It's very purposeful. Like you can feel Baz Luhrmann is making a lot of choices in the way that it's edited. It almost feels like an elongated,
Penis.
yes, no, an elongated.
I was
Like
going to,
montage?
but you left the gap so wide.
Yeah, dude. What's the
Like a montage?
Yes.
Okay.
The movie plays out like an elongated montage for the first like hour and a half.
Yeah.
Where it's just going and going, and there's all these stylized transitions.
It's almost a little like, not exactly, but it's like the anxiety I felt from like watching Mother the first time, where I was like, "Where is the pacing going on this thing?"
My brain wasn't sure about it. My brain was like, "Where is it? Where is it?"
Or like
Latch on.
the anxiety I feel anytime I watch Fury Road.
Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
That movie goes very hard.
But it does pick up, and it continues to pick up and pick up and pick up.
Well, not only does it pick up, but it also like slows down in a weird way. Like the intensity of the story picks up, but then the whole pacing kind of slows down as we get closer to the end.
It's like Elvis's career.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're kind of like, because at the beginning things are taking off like a rocket.
They
And
yada yada the beginning part of his career in some points, but I get to where they needed the most
Yeah.
important parts to go to. I think.
there are definitely historical liberties taken, but it's for the sake of good storytelling. And
Boy, is it good.
yeah, it's really good. I made some comments about Tom Hanks to you guys that I wasn't able to get in my review.
It's too cartoony, man.
I think his accent's really bad.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't sell it very well. And I think he comes across very comical. He's like the Sparrow Academy in the season.
Yeah.
Just at certain points, it's like, man, this guy's just so evil for the sake of being evil. I mean, I'm sure the guy actually was.
Sure.
I'd really be curious to watch a documentary about this now. I want to know more about this character.
Like you said, and like we had said also, but for the audience, it's like we did not know anything about Colonel Tom Parker before going into this. I didn't even know who managed Elvis at all.
I didn't even know that was a character worth or a person worth knowing about.
Me
but,
either.
I assumed it was P. Diddy.
but yeah,
Sean Puff Daddy Combs.
That's the one.
He was going by Puff Daddy at that time. But yeah, I think his character's like a little bit too SNL, a little too much of a caricature. But shoot,
a little too much conversation.
And
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about that after you had mentioned that to us, and I thought like maybe Tom Hanks accidentally did it, and then you can't tell Tom Hanks what to do. You know what I mean? Because he's Tom Hanks.
That's
or
a-
maybe they did it on purpose. Because this guy.
Tom
Yeah.
Hanks will tell you to back the off.
Yeah.
Oh, he will. Yeah. That's a fun clip. But Austin Butler kills it. I mean, I think he's. I'm predicting he's going to get an Oscar nomination for sure.
I think he should. I mean, the man is Elvis on screen.
But if Tom Hanks gets one for Best Supporting
Oh,
Actor,
God.
we riot.
I'll be upset. I will.
I will be upset. That was really bad. And I guess maybe the character sucks, or what in general, it's just not something that's worth an Oscar.
No, I don't think so.
For him at all.
You're Chirp, right?
Yes.
What else did you think?
Well, my general impression was the same, that the pacing was hard to latch onto. And I remember like leaving the theater and telling my wife like, hey, old white people aren't going to enjoy this movie at all, because this does not have the same biopic plot points that it needs to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an easy film to like I'm pretty sure if I told my grandma we're going to go watch a movie about Elvis, portraying Elvis.
Yeah.
And she went in and she saw like the beginning part of that movie, or even maybe the middle part of that movie, she'd be like, I couldn't understand what was happening. There was no rap.
Oh, that is interesting that they add in some modern music. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very Baz Luhrmann. I don't know. I kind of agree with you, but then I saw it when I went to go see I saw it at like 11:50 in the morning, and the theater was filled with just old white people.
There were old white people next to me.
Like I was the youngest person in that theater by like 30 years, which doesn't happen anymore. And they seemed to really like it. I was confused. I also felt like they might not be into it. My mom really liked it, which I
Wow.
was like,
Yeah.
My mom also liked it.
yeah.
I think that by the midpoint of the movie, it gets back to conventional storytelling pace.
Yeah.
So it's easier to latch onto, and then at that point they can like recognize what's going on in the time from maybe when they were young and go on from there. But I was just saying it's not what you would think it is going in, which is my general impression. I was pleasantly surprised. Like when I went in there, like David said, I literally was just like kind of dreading it because I thought it was going to suck or just be so mediocre.
And it's long too.
It is a long
If it
one.
was a
It's almost
bad
2.5
movie,
hours.
If it was a bad, well, it's longer.
2
it's
hours and 40 minutes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it goes by well. It goes by
it
really
does.
well, especially when you establish yourself mid-movie and you're just like, damn, I'm entrenched in this. Like, I want to know what's going on. And I really feel for the tragedy that is this guy's life.
Yeah.
But I really liked how they handled the controversy of Elvis. And they also give more insight into why he has his African-American influences. And it's more paying homage to it than it is whitewashing and taking for its own and just saying, he listened to black artists. That's it.
Yeah, it's like they said it in the movie. Like, no, this is the music that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what he grew up in. You know what I mean? It's part of his identity.
And it's like right at the county, it's the beginning of the movie, I guess, where like they're talking about, hey, all the kids are listening to this guy. We got to get him on for the show and stuff like that. I hate to equate it to this, but it's kind of like funny how it happened at the same time of my viewing of watching the Lakers story that I'm looking at, because when Magic Johnson was coming onto the scene, he came out at the same time that Larry Bird came out.
Came out with AIDS or came out?
No, that's much later.
David beat me to the AIDS joke.
When he was becoming drafted, he became drafted in the same year that Larry Bird did, and they were like college MVPs head to head, and people were just ranting and raving about how much they love Larry David because he's like a Cornhusker white guy
And a great writer.
Larry Bird.
I'm sorry, Larry Bird.
He's a great writer.
Sorry, my mind was elsewhere. But Larry Bird, and it's literally just because he was white. Magic Johnson was better statistically and won the MVP in all different ways, but it's just because...
And he looks way less goofy than Larry Bird does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Larry Bird is disgusting looking, but also Larry Bird was a giant asshole at the same time.
Larry
But
Bird.
It's just weird to see, like, that's how the demographics of white America worked. Something as what seems basic now is like African Americans dominating a sport
Yeah.
was something that was so taboo that people would rather just vote for a mediocre white guy than someone who is literally dominating the sport.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why affirmative action exists.
And exactly. And that's why like someone that introduces rock and roll and rhythm and blues or even gospel into rock and roll
Yeah.
takes off. Like Elvis is because it's more accessible to the white folk.
There's that moment at the beginning where they're telling him, and then the son's like pitching it to him, and they're like, "We could never take a Negro man on stage," and he's like, "But he's white," and they're all like, "But he's white."
Yeah,
Think of the money we can make.
Yeah, and I mean, it couldn't have been spelt out more than that, but it is true.
Yeah.
You know,
It's an unfortunate part of music history.
It's an important part of history.
Yeah, well, I mean, specifically music history. That,
Elvis has a huge influence on music history.
that people
too.
like the music, but will refuse to pay for the package. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then you have artists who come along like that who are really, Elvis wasn't as good as some of his, African American counterparts for sure. But he was the only one doing that as a white man at that time.
Yeah.
Which made it really special. So it was like,
But I don't mean it to discredit Elvis in any way,
No,
because
no.
I firmly love Elvis. I've always loved Elvis, but he is in his own right an incredible musician and an incredible showman,
man.
and an incredible songwriter.
Showman too. Which again, that Austin Butler, like I can't believe
man.
how much he like embodies that.
The action on stage is just incredible. So much
Which
so
action?
that he does do a shimmy.
He does.
Yeah, he does many shimmies.
He hits some karate chops.
Yeah, his kung fu on stage, but you can tell. Yeah, I mean, even his thrusts are really good. I'm like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
he's killing it.
Danny's like, oh my god.
But I mean, for someone to be able to like encapsulate the essence of Elvis's live performance and something that arguably changed live performance for rock and roll in general, that created rock and roll as a physical live entity rather than just a recording. Sorry.
You started doing hand gestures for Elvis and then you couldn't stop.
I couldn't
You had
stop.
to keep going
Exactly.
with
That's
the
how
gestures.
influential it is. Something that created the performance, the live rock and roll performance.
Yeah.
Rather than just listening to something on record or just recreating something live. I mean, you can feel it in the portrayal. Like there was moments in this that I was just like, damn, I feel like I'm actually watching Elvis in Vegas in the 70s.
Yeah.
What I would have given to like be at one of those shows. You know what I mean?
That would be insane. It would be totally insane. Yeah.
Or even, I didn't even know how much of an activist, I don't know how true it is, but I mean, how much of an activist he was in like believing in Dr. King and you know, like mourning him and not wanting to, you know what I mean? Like, or paying homage to him and stuff. That whole Christmas special part is a very special part of the movie.
And you know, that part is a little exaggerated. Like, they didn't go so far as to like build a whole set and then, and then like on the morning of decide to switch. Like, it was a little more planned from the beginning that we're not going to go full Christmas here, you know? But I don't know further than that. Again, I would watch a, 6-part documentary on Elvis's life now. I think it'd be very interesting.
Oh, shout out to Billy from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
For showing up in this one too.
I was like, whoa, Zac Efron's in this movie?
Dude, I mistake him for him all the time, man.
Oh, wait, no, that's Billy. That's that asshole from Stranger Things. Oh, Billy.
It was a solid movie, man.
Do you have anything to add, Frank? We've just been talking too much over here.
That's all good. I talked a whole bunch on the episode, David. I had the most words.
You did.
TBF.
All right, well, let's move on.
Yeah, I just gotta say, it totally exceeded my expectations. Very much looking forward to watching it again.
Yeah.
I would recommend it to everybody.
I can't wait for Elvis too. That's what I'm excited about.
The Electric Boogaloo.
Back in the habit.
How are they gonna get out of this one? All right.
Blitz.
No, yeah. I just lots of fun. Love the music. Love the costuming.
Oh yeah, costuming.
The costuming is fantastic.
Amazing.
Like, it's like, damn, like, I know politically we're going backwards in time. If that is the case, can we bring the style back?
Bring capes back, man.
Yeah.
I want that bejeweled capes.
Don't know about that, but nicer shoes, nice hat, coat. Yeah, man. It look real classy.
I love it.
Love it.
Yeah, definitely go watch Elvis, everyone.
Elvis, 2 out of 2 stars.
It's larger than life, and I think it is worth seeing in the cinema.
The weakest link being Tom Hanks, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, let's move on. We got more recording to do after this too. So
We're doing good on schedule, everybody. Oh, before we get on to our next segment, though, I would like to interject here and be the plug man cometh.
Tell him.
Thanks for listening. You can like, share, and subscribe to this. If you are on YouTube, please help us out. Hit that bell so you are notified when new videos come out. Also, if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please be sure to give us a 5-star rating. It helps us out with getting discovered. You can also be sure to follow us, and our episodes show up in your Spotify or Apple home screen the moment they appear, which is usually Sunday mornings. Be sure to check out also Character Limit Exceeded from our channel on YouTube, where we review movies with as little characters as possible. Check us out on the Facebooks at Uninformed Movie Reviews or on Instagram, where David posts stories or whatever.
Yeah, go to Instagram.
Yeah.
The Facebook, I've really fallen off posting on it. It's
No
really
one
my
likes
fault.
being on Facebook. I don't like being on
it's just
Facebook.
it's really getting aged out for sure.
Yeah, I'm not down.
Even old guys like us are like, it's old.
I've been over it for a long time now.
Yeah, Frank
that's
hasn't
true.
managed his Facebook
Frank has a good
groups
record
in a long time.
Yeah.
My favorite side effect of that is like Mary being bitter about not accepting her friend request from like 5 years ago.
And that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, still don't do it.
So we are at Uninformed Movie Reviews on Twitter. Also, I'm sorry, we do have a Twitter at Uninformed Movie Reviews. and Instagram.
Tweet at us. Tweet at us.
Give us the twit.
Speaking of twits, Frank, hit it. Oh, that's more Ezra Miller news.
No!
Here we go.
You got us!
Boom.
In a flash.
Part two. Okay, so
God, really?
as
Is there more?
as an update about Iron Eyes, Apparently, they couldn't.
What Iron Eyes? Is that the person?
Yes.
The person
He was kidnapped?
who was kidnapped.
Okay.
Allegedly,
But honestly, yeah, she was. You know?
update. Definitely kidnapped.
Well, unfortunately, they couldn't find him to give a protective order. I'm not really sure what's happened with that.
How does one catch the fastest man alive?
Exactly. Well, this is a GQ article. The Ezra Miller situation.
The fastest person alive.
The
Sorry.
Ezra Miller situation has taken a more disturbing turn. So I'm gonna let you guys get your jokes in now before we get into some heavy stuff here.
Oh man. Let me just say
Now I'm gonna wait for the heavy
every
stuff.
time I'm dreading more Ezra Miller news, I feel like that one meme of that dude that has headphones on that's just like like taking them off angrily.
Do you feel like the DC execs who were like, okay, we finally have a plan to fix it all. We just need to do Flashpoint Paradox and everything's going to be fine. Oh,
What is
Okay. He hits someone with a chair. As long as he doesn't go too much further, this will still be. He's kidnapped a 14-year-old. Oh my god! What else could he possibly do?
what is crazy too is I was reading that the movie is done. Flashpoint Paradox has been filmed.
It's done in two ways now.
Oh man, it's ready to go.
It is done and it is finished.
They're gonna have to like CGI him out and put like Henry Cavill in the role.
Just put a mustache on him.
mustache, CGI mustache in there.
All right, David, hit us with this.
All right. The Flash star has been accused of creating unsafe environments around some children and grooming others.
Uh-oh.
Now, the grooming is talking about the kidnapping from last week.
Oh, not like haircuts.
No. Like he was like giving this young lady like alcohol and drugs probably.
Oh my gosh.
To keep her in his clutches.
Oh man.
Okay, so what's going on here is that Miller on June 23rd, Rolling Stone published an extensive piece revealing that a young mother and her children, all between ages of 1 and 5, are currently staying with Miller on their 96-acre Vermont farm. The woman told Rolling Stone that she found the home to be a healing haven for us after leaving an abusive relationship. And the complaints and situation became known because her ex-husband, along with some other people, are reporting it to the cops that they're there with Ezra and that they're in danger, especially because Ezra Miller is insane. But also that apparently they're on an illegal marijuana growing operation in Vermont. That's what they're doing on the farm and selling this stuff while the kids are around. So that's what Ezra Miller's up to this week. It's pretty incredible, I think.
What will it be next week?
I don't know.
So they're in this Vermont in this crazy situation. There's only one hero for this. He sent in sweet little Bernie with his flock of freedom birds, his tiny little bird friends.
His mittens.
Yeah, and his mittens.
He'll go like, look, I don't understand what the Flash is, but here's what you need to do.
Ezra, I'm
Young
here
man.
asking you again to please stop kidnapping young ladies and please stop grooming children.
And if you can't make a donation of $23.
Ezra Miller probably being like one of the most, how do I say this, standable characters on screen in the Justice League part. And then they're just like, let's make an entire movie basing it on him. And this will be the next point of like pivot point for the entire universe. It's like, okay, cool. Now we got to bank on whatever the trailer that just came out was for Black Adam. I think I didn't even see it. There's a new trailer for Black Adam. I haven't even seen it, but I think they're putting all their money, all their eggs in a basket on The Rock. And hey, I'm not saying that The Rock can't carry a franchise, Fast and Furious, but he might
But
be.
you
able
are
to.
saying you can smell what he is cooking?
I can smell
it
what
smells
he's
a little
cooking.
like a turd.
I think it's going to be bad. But
The Rock seems definitely more level-headed, so that's good. I don't know if Black Adam is enough. Like, who cares?
yeah.
I
don't-
saw
people-
the trailer for Black Adam.
Did you?
Don't remember it at all.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to watch it after this.
Okay, well, let's end this with predictions. How do you think this is going to end for Ezra Miller? Frank,
Jail?
let's start with you.
Lead review. Dude, honestly, I'm kind of hoping for big standoff at this point.
That sounds cool.
Like,
I was hoping like Waco.
Hey, we know he's
well, I was thinking more Ruby Ridge because he's like a one-man
yeah,
band
yeah.
type
Yeah,
deal.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I
we
mean?
know he's carrying. He there's like many parts in that article or the Rolling Stone article where he'll pull out a piece on someone just because they have allegedly tried to be more politically correct than him. And like he'll pull out a piece.
or he'll be like, you know what? CW Flash is better. What did you say? What did you say right now?
I assume it is though. I don't know.
Danny,
Yeah.
what's your prediction? Jail?
Yeah, he's definitely going to jail, or at least he's going to spend a lot of money in settlements. I really hope that they just pull the whole Flash movie, and I feel really bad for all the crew members that like worked on that movie because
They got paid.
maybe.
Ooh. You know, I'm predicting that it's going to be like that the movie will come out, but maybe even straight to HBO Max.
Oh yeah, or it's gonna get light-yeared.
But I bet it's going to be mediocre anyways, and that'll be the
Oh,
funniest
yeah.
part.
Which is a shame because I've seen like the animated film.
Paradox is cool.
Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
It is a good story.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, time will only tell, but I bet it's not going to be good.
Well, there's your Ezra Miller update, everyone.
You know what's definitely not going to happen? He's not going to go, I've been acting a little unreasonably.
Yeah, pretty sure.
And you know what's sad is I won't even get to see the moment on screen where he says it's flashing time. Darn.
And then he whips it out really quick.
Oh no.
They. Well, I guess
yeah,
he is
they.
he
Yeah.
in the universe. He is he. So fair enough.
That's confusing.
It is.
Do you? Yeah, if the character is. Yeah.
Barry.
Yeah, I'm not referring to Ezra Miller. I'm referring to Barry Manilow.
Oh, Barry See, I thought you were talking about Ezra Miller.
Barry Barnes.
That's where I got
Is
confused.
it Barry Barnes?
Barry Allen, I'm pretty
Barry
sure.
Allen. That's who it is. I'm thinking of the baseball player.
Barry Bonds.
Yeah, Barry Bonds. That's
The Burrs ball.
All right, then. It's time for Peeps and Predicts.
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone's favorite, very real hypothetical debate segment. Debate segment. I almost got through it. Where we take two peeps or groups of peeps and put them against.
That's just what happens when we intentionally write everything in a
Super
clunky like way. Yeah.
We're like, oh, it's so clever.
Oh, this is so funny. Wow. The Umbrella Academy versus the Sparrows.
Hey, what do you know?
So this is about as topical as we can get.
The situation is who is most likely to prefer Dutch Bros coffee over Starbucks? The Sparrows.
Okay.
Well, we really got to think about this one. Hold on.
Yeah.
For our Dutch Bro sponsor.
I'm confused. I don't know if I even prefer Dutch Bros over Sparrows, mostly because I just want black coffee, and I'm going to Dutch Bros.
Well, you had an experience today. Why don't we talk about
Okay,
that?
let me hit this real fast. I'll make it quick. Okay. So like months ago, and it was on the podcast. It was caught on the podcast.
Yeah,
so these
yeah.
guys were like, "Oh, here's you an Americano," and I was like, "I don't want Americano. I want black coffee." And they're like, "That's what Americano is." I'm like, "No, Americano is espresso diluted with water, which is what it is." But anyways, I go to Dutch Bros today, and the young lady, who first off is shocked that we're buying 3 coffees. She thinks that
like straight up judging us.
yeah, she's like, "Whoa, you guys are getting 3 coffees?"
Is that crazy?
And I'm like, "No, we're gonna go meet a friend right now. There's one for him too." They're all large. It's like, I'm not drinking all 3 of these. Okay, there's 3 of us, and we're each having one. Okay, but anyway, I'm asking for just a cold brew, and then she tells me, because I'm like, I just want black coffee. She's like, "Oh, our cold brew doesn't have coffee in it. Did you want us to mix some coffee in with the cold
It
brew?"
doesn't have any coffee. It has brew.
And I was like,
so weird.
yeah, which is just first off not true. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, can I just get black coffee? And then she's like, well, we can get you an Americano, which is just coffee mixed with water.
She
Again,
got you, bro.
This is just not true. These are just things that aren't factual.
And I felt like I did a pretty good job of holding it back, but I definitely let out a little like,
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I don't understand. I mean, obviously she probably knew there and maybe has never worked in a coffee place before.
How old do you think this person was?
I would get like
23, 24?
between 19 and 23, I would imagine.
So very know-it-all, huh?
Like old enough to think she knows some things, but not old enough to know that
To
she
actually
actually
know-
doesn't know.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, I remember being that age working in a
Yeah.
coffee shop and like there's so many drinks that it's hard to,
But the basics?
Yeah, but to not know that cold brew is coffee, that's pretty big.
Yeah, did she just think like it's a Keurig cup that they just like
I
toss into
guess.
ice or something?
Now, I'll tell you what, this has never happened to me at Starbucks,
That's true.
but I don't know. I hate that both of them, they have to be so friendly and talkative with you.
Really,
you know
for
what?
me, it depends on the day, and that it depends on which route I'm
It
taking
depends
away
which
from
location.
my house. Yeah.
It depends which location.
That's true too. I feel like Starbucks, they don't talk to me that often
Yeah.
because I'm just at the window. Whereas at Dutch Bros, they're coming up to your car.
Yeah.
A bit of a different dynamic.
You just gotta fill your car with farts as you're waiting in line.
Well,
when I'm at Starbucks, to avoid said situation, if I really don't feel like talking, I'll either roll the window back up or
What a rude guy.
No.
Man. Damn.
But you know what?
Such a Danny move.
Sometimes
love
I
it.
find baristas that are the exact same sentiment. They'll just like say hey, and then they'll close the window or something like that. And you know what? I'm just like, this is a pleasant experience.
You get $1.
Yeah, I don't want to freaking talk. I don't want your shallow small talk.
This is Danny's full-blown Larry David moment.
I'm
right
sorry.
here.
I know they don't care. I know
It's
they don't
even
care.
more Larry David. Sorry, I'm just here.
I don't care as much as they don't care.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is, especially when I'm headed to church. I'm sorry. I know this is like an insight to my life, but when I'm headed to church, like I'm in the worst mood possible.
sure.
It's like early morning. I'm just trying to get some coffee on Sunday, and they ask, what am I doing today? And I'm like, do you care? Like
They might.
And I say I'm going to church, and they're just like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that's my same sentiment too. Can I have my coffee? Like,
Is it ready yet?
yeah. Or like they just awkwardly sit there with the window open, and I'm just like, bro, like, I don't care. You don't care. Like, I'm not gonna tell your boss you're not giving me small talk. Just go away. Sorry. Or I'll turn the music up really loud.
Yeah, but they never know what Karen is going to complain.
That's
that
true.
They didn't get small talk. You know what I mean?
Who wants it?
I don't get it. Who wants it?
Okay, so both have the small talk. I'll say this: Dutch Bros has a smaller menu that's a little more to the point.
Yeah.
There's not as many options, but there's not a lot of duds.
There's no customization too.
Whereas Starbucks, it's like you can get anything you want, but maybe there's too much. I don't know.
If I may,
It's like an In-N-Out thing. It's like In-N-Out versus like a.
I like Dutch Bros because
yeah.
they do have decent coffee.
Yes.
And they got some good drinks. To be fair, I haven't found my drink yet. I haven't found my go-to, like, I need this. This is kind of the closest I've gotten.
Yeah.
But it still, in my mind, tastes like everything else I've gotten there. It just happens to have a little more espresso. It's bigger and is more of it. Maybe this is a Five Guys situation where the fries aren't as good, but they give you an entire bag of it. But for Starbucks, I have like 5 go-tos, and I know exactly how they should taste.
Dirty chai latte, 2 shots of espresso, baby.
That's what I'm saying. Irish cream cold brew in the winter with an extra shot of espresso and some sweet cream foam.
See, I just get black coffee at both locations. So,
Well, which one has better black
I
coffee?
don't
to
like
you?
getting black coffee at Starbucks because even if you tell them 1,000 times, no black, no simple syrup, nothing.
Yeah.
They're still gonna hit you with that
Something in
sweetener.
there.
Those
Yeah, you have
sons
to
of
say no
bitches.
classic. Sometimes they
Classic.
still don't get it. It's a little. Starbucks sometimes they burn their coffee,
Yeah, they do.
which is like
Sometimes
your
they
coffee
do.
place and you're burning your coffee.
Well, they're kids.
yeah. Dutch Bros, I've enjoyed the cold brew, which I'm usually not a cold brew guy. Man, so this is hard. I guess this comes down to okay, which group is gonna want more customization? Which one's gonna want more options of like frilly drinks? You think?
Honestly, I think the
Sparrows.
umbrellas.
Oh, you think so?
Because they're a bit more tattered. The sparrows have more control over. Hey, Eric. The sparrows have more control over their situation and their father. You know what I mean? Damn, I don't even think the sparrows. I bet the sparrows have their own signature coffees. You know what I mean?
That's one thing in the season they don't really explore because they're like a world. It's kind of like the boys. They're like a brand.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
the 7.
but they don't get into it all the way. I could see them having their own coffee deal or something, or even being partnered with a Dutch Bros or
I feel like
Starbucks.
they would be more particular about their drinks.
I think they might be Starbucks.
I think they would be Starbucks.
I think Sparrows might be Starbucks.
Yeah.
Well, what was the question?
So who's more likely to prefer Dutch Bros coffee? So the
think
Umbrella
Umbrella.
Academy.
Umbrellas.
I think Umbrella.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right. Who is most likely to use their multidimensional powers for the purpose of assimilation? I think this is in reference to Topu Jabaki or whatever.
Jobu
Jabaki?
Tabaki.
Jobu Tabaki.
I am so confused right now. What is that again?
Who is most
Everything everywhere all at once.
Oh, okay. There we go. There we
Who
go.
is
There we
most
go.
likely?
Jobu, right?
Jobu
Jobu
Tabaki, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure. Who's most likely to use their multidimensional powers for the purpose of assimilation,
Oh.
a singularity, if you will.
Well, this is an easy one, I think.
Because the Umbrella Academy just did this.
Yeah, they just did it, but didn't also.
I don't think the Sparrows wanted assimilation.
No, the Sparrows wouldn't want to mess with that.
They don't want anything joining in on their universe. They just want
also-
their universe.
They got it pretty. They got the setup.
Yeah.
they're doing well. The Umbrellas, they're scrambling.
If anything, they want back to assimilation.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. That was an easy one.
And even if they didn't want it, they would cause it inadvertently.
Yeah, because they suck.
Yeah, because they're idiots.
All right.
So the Umbrella Academy versus
Neo for
The
the
one.
championship round.
Mr. Anderson.
Is it the 1 or the 7?
Who is a better person overall than Wendy Bird? The entire Umbrella Academy. Wendy Bird being from Ozarks for those.
Wendy Bird being
Ozark.
horrible. I mean, this season, Allison's pretty bad. She might be worse than Wendy Bird. Gets her siblings killed.
What's worse, sexually assaulting your brother or murdering your brother?
Or doing both, because she does both.
It's a question I am not a happy answer. Yeah, but Allison did both.
Allison did do both.
Oh, yeah.
And Wendy didn't physically... Well, I guess Allison didn't physically murder Luther, but... She did.
Yeah, really, she had nothing to do with it except for, like, she was working with Reggie.
But she did almost rape him. Sorry for using the R word, guys.
It's better to use the R word than to do the R word.
Yeah. Or use the
Looking
other
at
R
you,
word.
Ezra Miller.
The funny R
Oh my
word.
god. Wow, we're getting into dark territory.
Sorry,
here.
yeah, let's get out of that territory really quick.
I mean, Neo is such a nice guy.
He is. He's also
He's a sweetheart.
altruistic.
Yeah.
Does he do anything selfish?
No, he's Jesus.
He gives
He's
himself
literally
up
Jesus.
for computer lounge.
I mean, Jesus blinded the shit out of that bully.
Well, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, we're not talking about those. That's why they took that part out.
Yeah, Jesus was kind of mean, but he got the point across.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I've
mean.
always thought like that blind man that Jesus heals, like
Yeah.
in the later parts, like it was just that bully.
Is that
you know
same
what I mean?
kid?
Yeah, it was that same kid.
Dang.
He was like, "Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that."
I
Here,
bet
let
the
me
guy
fix
that was
really
writing
quick."
the Bible was just like, let's bring him back. Jesus confronts his mistakes.
It sounds like a Star Wars 4, 5, 6 thing. Oh, you know what? We're going to retcon actually that blind guy.
We're bringing back Watto. Sorry.
It was Watto the whole time.
Jesus.
You blinded my eyes, Andy.
Both are from sandy places.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Both are probably Jewish.
Who, Watto?
Watto is clearly
Yeah, he's
supposed to be like a racially charged Jewish impersonation.
It was the early aughts, David.
Just like
No
the
one
gun
cared.
rays, man. The gun rays. It was so horribly racist. Anyway.
That's very true. The gun roys.
Yeah, no, gun rays.
Is it gun rays?
Newt Gunray and I don't remember the other one's name.
Yeah. Okay, but
Newt
I think the
Gingrich?
point we're trying to make is like Neo is so altruistic and selfless.
Yeah.
Compared to
Everyone.
the very huge egos and the list of like
Yeah.
emotional issues that the Umbrella Academy has.
Yeah.
And it's who's better than Marty Bird or
Wendy
Wendy
Bird.
Bird?
Yeah.
I mean, they're both
All of
better.
They're both
Yeah.
better, but Neo is so much further ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not gonna betray you.
No, and he's also just not incompetent.
No.
He's very competent.
The
Darn.
character, not the actor.
No, not the actor.
no.
Oh, Keanu.
Especially when I heard that, just sidecar, that Keanu Reeves has portrayed Hamlet in plays
Oh God.
in like Broadway or something. I was just like, wow.
That sounds like my
sounds
personal
awful.
version of hell. Having just to for eternity sit through Keanu Reeves performing Hamlet. Oh no.
Oh, wow.
All right, well, I guess that's it. Neo's the winner.
Continues to excel.
We're at the end of another podcast, and here's what we have coming up next. Danny, do you have your birthday pick? It's next
Holy
week.
crap. Yeah.
Putting you on the spot. Is it going to be Tim and Eric, or what do you
Yeah,
think?
it is going to be Tim and Eric.
Okay, it's Tim and Eric time.
I'm also going to just like apologize ahead of time. Everyone will, for those not in the know, we will be doing Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job. Their $1 billion movie.
Wow. Do I have to pay to rent this? Is this streaming
I think it's
somewhere?
actually streaming somewhere.
Okay, I
It
hope
might be
so.
on Prime or something.
Then after that, we're going to have a podcast. It might be Frank and I. We might have a special guest. We don't know. Thor: Love and Thunder, because Danny will be.
Oh, darn.
He'll be
I'll
in
be in Hawaii. Aloha oi mahalo.
And then, you know what? After that, guys, we have a CLE that we haven't scheduled yet. And then finally, we're talking about Nope.
Yeah.
Dope.
New Jordan Peele.
Dope.
Yeah, hopefully it will be.
Very excited.
Well, that is it for the episode. We hope you've enjoyed. Go watch Umbrella Academy, but go watch Elvis first. I think that's more important.
If you didn't enjoy this episode, maybe there's something wrong with you. You ever thought about that?
Either way, like, share, and subscribe.